Love Island star Amy Hart lost more than £5,000 in not much more than 5 minutes when phone scammers targeted her and her bank account.
Now, Amy's joining forces with a pensioner called Daisy to fight the fraudsters. But Daisy isn't who the scammers might think she is. Here's Michelle Morrison to explain.
They called me up. They said that there'd been some fraudulent activity. They literally drained my whole account.
We lost £50,000.
I can't actually quite believe what's happened to me. It's horrific.
Losing their savings to scammers. Just a few of the distressed victims we've spoken to. But there's an unlikely new hero.
So, W's then a dot.
Meet Daisy, a pensioner with a plan.
Gosh, how time flies.
But although she may look real, she's not. Daisy is an AI bot, a fictional character developed by experts to attract scam calls. But how? Well, they use a tactic called number seeding. That means they got Daisy's number added to a list of numbers online that are commonly used by scammers to target vulnerable people. And all she had to do was sit back and wait for the calls to come in.
The idea is that she'll keep them on the line for as long as possible to get details on how scammers are working, but also waste their time to make sure they're not targeting someone else.
It's a bit confusing, you know. I think it's off at the moment, but I'll get it turned on in just a moment.
Can you please come to the home page in your computer?
Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. I'm doing my best.
The fraud prevention pensioner turning the tables on scammers.
How clever is that?
Very clever.
We're joined now by Amy, who was scammed, alongside cybersecurity expert. He's very much on top of this new idea. Jake Moore. Hello, Jake. Hello, both of you. Hello, Amy. Amy, we'll hear exactly what happened to you in a minute and how convincing these people can be.
Yes.
But first of all, that is a very clever idea. How would ordinary people, how would we access that service?
So it's a fantastic initiative. It's so proactive and something that we haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
So the company are infiltrating those databases that these scammers get hold of.
Right.
They find those numbers and then they're targeting people. But if we can put these, say, fake randomised numbers in there that they will call, they'll then be put through to, AI Daisy and be able to speak with her and waste their time on this AI machine and therefore stop finding these victims of this crime.
So that, in a way, as we said, it's turning the tables, isn't it? It's kind of getting AI to confuse AI and other scammers. Amy, what happened to you?
So I was sat in the garden and my phone rang and it was a number I didn't recognise, so I didn't answer it. I did what everyone does, I typed it into a search engine and it said that it was my bank's fraud line. And they must time it because it was literally the time that I went onto the search engine, typed it in, saw it was, they phoned me back. And I answered it, but it was actually number spoofing. So it was a scammer had managed to spoof the number. So it is the right number, but it's a different line that's come in.
So clever,
and they knew lots of details about me. And that's the thing with scammers, they always pose as a very reputable company, so HMRC or the big banks. And they said there'd been fraudulent activity on my account. And I went onto my internet banking and checked. I said, there's not anything on there. They said, no, it's because we've stopped it. So we need your help because we'll let it go through if it's not actually fraudulent. So I was panicking and they used pressure tactics and my heart rate was going and I was really hot. And I was going, yeah, OK, what do I need to do? And they said, right, we're going to send you a text now. And there was 2 transactions, the one from them and one that I had actually done.
A genuine one.
Yeah. And they said, did you do either of those? And I said, oh, I did do one of them. He said, OK, you need to put yes then. And I kept saying, but I haven't done the other one. And he was saying, look, OK, if you want me to put it through, I'll put... I was like, no. So I typed yes and then it went through.
So putting yes in was allowed them to access your account. So you were agreeing for them to get into your account.
No, what had happened is someone else had done, had done a telephone banking transaction. I've never used telephone banking in my life. So when they were asking me, well, what were your login details, when I actually called the actual fraud line, I was like, I don't know, because I've never used it.
You don't use it,
So they'd done a telephone banking transaction. So as part of that, they send you a text. So they'd got me on the phone at the same time, so that when the text came through, I clicked yes.
You said what they said to you. What was the voice like? What was the tone of the voice like?
A very normal voice.
A woman or a man?
A man.
A man.
And I sort of ran into my husband. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. So he called my bank from another phone. And they said, no, we're not on the phone to her. So we hung up.
Oh.
Golly.
When did you discover you'd lost £5 grand?
I checked my bank account.
What, straight away?
Yeah.
Within minutes?
And it had gone.
And it had gone.
Oh, Amy, and I've noticed that because there's a greater awareness of these frauds, I mean, they're very clever and they find new ways each time, that actually banks are sending out a lot more fraud stops now on your account, aren't they? You're nodding as well. And so, therefore, you're getting more texts asking you to say yes or no. You're getting more calls from your real bank. And that just makes it even more easy to fall prey.
I got a text the other day, and again, they'd managed to hack into the existing text chain with my bank.
No.
But I knew it was fraudulent because, A, it was a random question about my tax residency, and I was like, you know that, you've got my passport details.
Yeah.
And it started with, hi. I was like, my bank don't say hi.
Hiya!
So I was like, right, okay, that's not... And then they sent me another text saying, you know, are you a tax resident of the UK or the US? Text back yes or no, whereas my bank, it's Y or N. So it's just like spotting those like, little signs. And I always think, if in doubt, if your bank really needs you, they'll write to you.
Yeah, exactly. But we all rely on cards and other things, Apple Pay, other versions of that. So we're getting more and more used to wanting things to happen quickly. And when there's a problem and it won't go through, then it's difficult. So we've scared the pants off everybody now. Is there any advice that we can give? Because it sounds to me like you did everything you could.
Yeah, I would just say stop and take a minute just to breathe, because
the house isn't about to burn down.
When I was on the phone, like, my heart rate was raised, I was panicking. They use pressure tactics. That's what they do. They want you to do everything now, and they want you to be a bit hysterical and not really understanding what you're doing.
Kate says that people watching might be panicking a bit. I have to say, when I read the details of what happened to me last night before I went to bed, I actually went online and checked my bank account because about 2 weeks ago I had to pay an unusually large bill. It was a roofing bill. I paid it in the morning at about 11 o'clock, and I got a call from the bank at about 3 saying it was... And they named the bank, and they said it was the fraud department. They'd seen a very unusual large transaction. Was it genuine? Now, they asked me for my postcode and my date of birth, and then they asked me what the payment was for and had I seen the work and was I happy with it, and they said, OK, then we'll authorise it. That's all they asked me. I didn't notice anything bad happening to my account when I checked. Was that OK?
So you were expecting it, so that's good. However, I would always err on the side of caution, and you can bring them back. And the real bank will never mind if you say, you know what, I'm going to call you back on the number on the back of my card or the number that you find in the mobile banking app.
That's the way to do it.
And then they'll say...
you say that, but sometimes it can take ages to get through.
Well, a fraud department line should be pretty quick because they want you to feel safe. And so if you get through to them on a different line, you should, therefore, be a lot safer. And then you know you've got the confidence in saying, yes, I expected everything else, because you know that they will know so much about you. With Amy, they knew so much. So much of our data is already out on the internet. It gets into the dark web, and criminals can just find all this information on us. And so really we need to go the extra way. And, if you can call them back on the number that you are genuinely confirmed, then you should be safer.
The thing is, we all want to be so polite, don't we? And when these people... I mean, the person I spoke to, who obviously was a genuine article, was very polite, and it didn't really cross my mind to challenge her and to say, don't take this personally, but you could be a scammer. If you don't mind, I'm going to hang up and call my bank back directly.
That's okay.
Is that okay? But I kind of didn't feel comfortable doing that.
You say that. I've listened to some of these AI calls, and when you know it's AI, they're very funny to listen to, because they're an hour and a half in and they are screaming down the phone at Daisy, saying, you're so stupid, swearing at her. But then you stop and think, actually, they don't know that's AI. That could be my nan on the phone. They're being really nasty to. And, like, my nan and granddad are, like, scared to answer the phone because they're worried it's going to be a scam call. And it's just like, I just feel so bad for people.
Is this Daisy scheme, the granny, is it up and running now? Is it actually working?
It's up and running, and it's fantastic. You know, so not only will it stop other people becoming victims because it's using so much of their time, like you say, getting frustrated with the AI, it's actually going to learn the tactics, learn the latest scams, so teach us as the public what they're doing, and also waters down the information. So when they get that data is then less valuable because they sell it on as well. So it really is going to infuriate them.
Well, the takeaway for me on this, and I hope for people watching, is that if you get one of these calls, it may be genuine, it may not be, either are going to be convincing. Tell them you're going to call them back on the number that you know is genuine, and that's what I'm going to do from now on.
Great.
It's a really good lesson. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Amy.
Good luck.
Did you get your money back in the end, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Good. Fine.
Whew, that's a relief. Good to speak to you.